Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I don't know why I was still about to say this AGH. Alright, so let's go into this whole, Jake and Gabby versus Kate. This pretty much kind of continued off of yesterday. She revealed that she was faking her blindness, and, she was doing this just to get back at Jake and everything like that. Now, first of all, a couple of things I gotta sit there and say. I don't blame Kate for how she reacted. Yes, I think it's beneath her, especially a woman of her age, to sit there and try to get revenge on a guy who's, half her age? I mean, to stoop down to that level, and to fake being blind. It's like, really? Like, you did all that just to get back at him? And you honestly think that you're the winner? So, yeah, there's that. But I understand why she did what she... I understand why she felt how she felt. Because it's not like she didn't give him out. It's not like she didn't give him an out. This is maybe about a year ago, give or take. This is after... There's one point, I think they were outside and they were talking. And, this is after... Jake found out the reason why Gabby left and everything like that. And she said to him, listen, if you want to go out with her, I will step back and let you do you. It will suck, but I'd rather you be honest with me than you to sit there and keep pining over another woman while you're with me. And he was all like, no, this, that, and the third. There was so many times that he kept trying to rebuild her confidence because... I mean, hell, he practically admitted that he was actually having sex dreams about her. But it was like, oh no, it meant nothing. Bro, there's no way you're going to sit there and tell me that if you have sex dreams about somebody else, unless there's some sort of, I don't know, superstar or something like that, that it's not going to mean anything. There was so many times where Kate gave Jake an out. And he kept not taking it. So finally, when she damn near is dead, about a week, not even a week, and you jump into bed with her? Are you kidding me? So yeah, I don't blame her for how she felt in that whole argument. But it's just one of those things where it's like, alright, well you had to sit there and stoop down to his level in order to sit there and do all that. You had to sit there and fake being blind, fake amnesia, all just to get back at him. And then you're going to sit there and say, oh, well, now he's out of a job and he's unemployed and he's still rich, so what's the difference? He's still rich, so what's the difference? I mean, I love how she was like, oh, how the mighty have fallen. And I'm like, well, he never thought himself as mighty. He never really did think of himself as mighty because he was running, he was a CEO. His personality never really changed. Not really. I'm pretty sure the dude still knows how to fix cars. So I just, it's one of those things where it's like his personality didn't really change that much or anything. It didn't really seem like it changed at all. So the whole high and mighty part was just okay. And you did your whole revenge and you walked off like you were the winner. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. They still have each other. And you have... what exactly? Seriously. About this whole little thing of you getting back at him. Do you really think that he actually lost? Okay, he's not the CEO anymore. Okay, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Given all those reasons, it doesn't really seem like it matters that much. Now, there's a point where Jake just, loses it. He gets so angry and mad. He doesn't want to be in the house anymore. He doesn't want to be around Chad and EJ and Kate. Everyone there has that sort of negative energy and stuff like that. He doesn't want to be around that. I get that. But then he gets so upset. He starts throwing his tie around. And he's, throwing the temper tantrum. I'm like, bro, really? Walk your ass on out. What are you doing? This just looks silly on you. You just look silly. There's one point he's all like, oh, I'm sorry, I got carried away. I was like, bro, you didn't get carried away. You just over-exaggerated everything. But sure, we'll call it that. carried away. Okay. But yeah, they decide to move out. But before they move out, they're gonna pretty much christen the house one last time on a high note. So, yeah, there's that. Now, Lucas and Sami get into it once again. And the thing that I liked about Lucas, what he said, the way he was treated, the way how he felt, and she didn't comprehend, like, why he's so mad, why he's so moody and stuff like that. And Lucas was like, alright, let's say if the roles were reversed, and I came to you for comfort, and then you practically just kind of just threw me to the side and act like it didn't matter, and act like it was a huge mistake. How would you, and I act like it was a huge mistake and it didn't matter. How would you feel? If the roles were reversed, how would you feel? And of course, Sami, being the idiot that she was, couldn't understand it because she was only worried about herself and how she was feeling. She was like, oh, if you would have did that to me, it would have been fine because it was a mistake. And I'm just like, I love how what he said, you just completely missed the mark. It just went straight over your head. It's one of those things where it's like, Lucas, I really don't understand what you see in this woman. Still. Like, she's not smart. She probably used to be smart. She used to be a force of nature, Hurricane Sami. And now, what did he call her? A suburban housewife. Yeah, a suburban housewife. Oh, also a doormat. Yeah, he called her a doormat. And she got all offended and upset. And I'm like, sweetheart, listen. When Lucas came to town, he came back to town, and I first saw him, I liked the guy, to be honest. I didn't hate him, but I felt like he was a little overbearing and a little bit like, too much in certain situations. Particularly walking in Nicole's house and act like he wasn't going to leave until he got answers like, he pays rent there. But with that being said, he's 100% right. And she's too stupid to actually comprehend anything that he's saying. And I'm going to be honest, this is one of those things where it's like, I want to know, for anybody who's a Sami fan, what do you think of her now? Listen, I didn't know her way back when, so I can't sit there and speak for that. But what do you think of her now? If you've been watching the show for a while, and you see how she was back then, what do you think of this version? Do you like her? Do you not like her? Why? Why not? This is something that I really want to know. But yeah, they're going at it. Allie comes in, and Allie's like, oh, well, you guys need to be in a timeout. And you guys are arguing, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, sweetheart, when did you become the parent? Walking in here all high and mighty, like, trying to talk down to them like they need a timeout. Like, who are you? You were a train wreck for years. Okay? You were a train wreck for years. You're the last person to sit there and walk in any room and start trying to judge them and be the morality police into saying, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. From a person who's never actually tried to get a job. That's laughable. But yeah, she comes in there and, she's like, what's going on? You guys need to calm down. I heard you from over there. What's up with y'all? And, they bring out EJ as an excuse. So they won't know what's really going on. They argue about it for a little bit. And of course, Sami leaves and Allie talks to EJ. Allie talks to, I can't wait till she talks to EJ. Allie talks to, Lucas, and she's trying to find out, why is he getting under your skin? Why is she getting under your skin? Like, what's going on? Y'all, like, really are going at it, And of course, Lucas doesn't really sit there and tell his real reasons why, but, they're there. So yeah. I feel like they talked about something else, but I can't remember what it is. So let's talk about EJ. Let's keep saying EJ. Let's talk about Eli and Lonnie. Because in the beginning, it was just pretty much playing catch up. You know, I found out about the whole Abe and Paulina hooking up and everything like that. And, you know, him sitting there choking on his cookies or his muffins was actually pretty funny. Now, one thing that Lonnie said that I was like, I'm so glad that she addressed that, was when she was sitting there talking about Paulina in the way that she came out and said what she said to her, as far as like letting her know about her and Abe. Because it wasn't so much as, you know, hey, listen, you know, me and your father, we're getting together, we make each other happy and whatever, you know. She didn't say it like that. You know, she didn't sit there and say it in the most diplomatic way where it wouldn't come across as offensive or just straight up gross to her. I mean, she literally came out and she was like, oh, you know, she said it like, I'm sleeping with your father. You know, and I'm so glad that she said that. Because I was like, I would have been like, yo, seriously? That's gross. Like, why would you come out your mouth and say something like that to me? But then you want to sit there and try to act like you're sparing my feelings? You want to make sure I'm okay? With a sentence starting off like that? Are you kidding me? That still just, like, gets to me. You know? I mean, there's such a thing as no holding your tongue and being truthful. And then there's just straight up disrespect. And I feel like women like that, they don't know the difference. They can't tell the difference. And they're just not used to understanding that they stepped over the line so many times that it's just natural to them. I'm glad that she said that. But then, you know, she was also sitting there talking about, hey, you know, I hope this thing works out because of how the outside world will sit there and look at it. You know, big, powerful mayor, sitting there, taking advantage of a small entrepreneur woman. I mean, come on, it's the truth. She didn't even have to get into that. And just a couple of sentences that she said everything. You know? And plus, just a relationship. You know, if it doesn't work out in a relationship, how's it going to work out in business-wise? Like, it's just going to be a giant and total mess. So she's worried about that. And of course she talks about their anniversary and Eli acts like he forgot about it. And he's like, oh, I'm just so tired from the stakeout. Let's just, what did he say? Let's just peacock and chill. Let's just peacock and chill. Alright. I see the little shameless plug that they did. You know what? It's fine. It's on the network. I'm cool with it. I'm pretty sure they got some cool stuff on Peacock. Like that new reboot of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's no longer going to be a comedy, and it's going to be a drama. And I just don't know how I feel about that, because it can go either way, but I digress. I will sit there and say I wasn't a fan of that idea. I don't think anyone was, but I don't know. I think about the like how they go about it. It might work. It might work. It just might work. I've seen other properties. They flipped it around and somehow it works out. So, but yeah, he was like, let's just stay in, let's just chill. And when he hugs her, you know, she just has that look of disappointment on her face between the fact that he didn't remember and they're not really doing anything, you know, to celebrate the anniversary. So when she leaves, he calls up somebody. He's like, yeah, she totally bought the fact that I acted like I didn't remember our anniversary. Yeah, we're going to plan something really special for her. And I'm pretty sure whatever they're going to plan, whatever he's going to plan, is not going to go the way he wants it to go. I just know it. I just know it. By the way, just saw on Instagram that the first Jennifer, she won an award for leading, or she won an award for something. And listen, I don't know how to feel about that. I just, like, she left. Like, whatever. I don't even remember how long she was actually there for. She might have been there longer than I was watching it. And if that's so, then props to her. But if not, then I feel like they were just handing out awards just because. Like, they gave that woman from Bold and the Beautiful, Steffi, an award. And listen, I know that the acting on CBS is a lot different than the acting on, you know, ABC. I get it. But even within that being said, and I've watched that show and I've watched some of the other actors, and I watched her act, and I was like, are you kidding me? You gave this chick an. This is the reason why I do not watch award shows in general. This is the reason why I just stopped watching award shows, the music award shows, and all that, because they will sit there and give an award to someone sometimes, and I feel like they just completely do not deserve it, and they get it anyway just because, I don't know, somebody owes them a favor or something. I don't know. And I just totally veered off to the right, but yeah, I had to talk about that, because I said it on my GH review. I had to stay on here because I just do not understand how she won an award, and to be, with that being said, it's just kind of laughable and kind of sad at the same time. I digress. I'm done. That's just done. Oh, and Chad and EJ are going at it because, Chad's like, yo, listen, when you got in the office, EJ was like, oh, guess who's going to be, guess who's the new CEO, who's going to be running the company. Chad walks in like, oh, really? So when he hangs up the phone, Chad's like, so you only said that to Tony just to smooth it over. But you don't really mean that. I mean, you can say that. You can look me in the face and be sincere and stab me in the back at the same time. So he's not completely on board, and EJ tries to sit there and say, hey, listen, your personal life messed up this company. Jake was inexperienced. He wasn't doing any favors. Me and you can sit there and bring this company back to where it needs to be. Now, the problem with EJ, one, is that I don't really know him too well. And Chad knows him all his life. So if he's not there saying that I don't believe anything that you're saying, you can sit there and tell me that you want us to be 50-50, but I don't believe it. We all know how I feel about Chad. But if he has that much of a strong opinion about it, I'm gonna sit there and take Chad at his word and be like, yo, maybe you should be a little cautious to him, But with that being said, they're going back and forth a little bit, and then Kate walks in, and she's all like, oh, I'm not blind, and I didn't have amnesia, and I just did it just to get back at Jake. But now that I'm done with that, I want to sit there and get back into the company, because clearly, I was going to sit there and say, now she don't actually have a man to go back to. She needs to find some way to occupy her time, and nothing better than sit there getting back into the business world. So EJ's like, yo, I'm on board. I'm going to leave, because I got plans, but we'll talk about, whatever your role is going to be in the company, and we'll go from there. Meanwhile, Chad, apologized for blackmailing, Kate. Kate was like, I would have done the same thing if I was in your position. Chad's like, well, you already did that, so it's fine. But, Kate was like, listen, at the end of the day, like, I still cared about him, Like, he wasn't the total devil or anything like that, but just the fact that, and I don't remember if she said this to him, or I know she said this to Gabby and them, Gabby and Jake, but, she's like, when I woke up, there were reasons that they're talking about plans for your future. I literally just woke up out of a coma. I could have died. And that's all y'all two could sit there and think about is, like, where y'all plan on banging next and going on vacation and having a life together? Like I said, I completely understand where Kate is coming from. And if you gotta sit there and look at it from a soap opera standpoint, yeah, her getting revenge on them, was definitely something that, is gonna keep us entertained. But I also kind of look at it like, you had to stoop down to the level to do it? Okay, whatever. But yeah, she said that she still cares about him and whatever, and, and then also she sits there and she slaps Jake, which, again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I am so not a fan of I know that that's a soap opera trope that they've done, and it's just a thing that they do when they slap someone or whatever, but something about that is just so, like, really? Like, it wasn't enough to sit there and practically humiliate him in front of a bunch of people, but then you gotta sit there and put hands on him? I don't know. I always find it just something about seeing scenes like that just kind of irks me. It really irks me because this is something that just becomes normal, for a woman to sit there and slap a man. We all know what would have happened if the roles were reversed and he would have wound up smacking her. Okay, we would have been sitting there, they would have been sitting there firing up on him. Not just the show, but the actor in general, just for even doing that. So, I've always had a problem with that, I don't even know where the hell I was going with that, but yeah. Oh, and Allie and Chanel are really happy, and Paulina comes in there like, oh, well, why don't you two get a room? And like, okay, was that really necessary? But then, Allie leaves, and Paulina once again tries to convince Chanel that it's not going to be easy to do what you do. Business is hard. 20% of businesses fail. Whatever she can sit there and try to do to discourage Chanel, she's going to do it. Hell, even since you're talking about you were never good at math in high school and stuff like that. And as much as I do not like Chanel, and I cannot sit there and stress this enough, she looked like she's trying. She's talking about she's been learning QuickBooks and doing a lot of tutorials and self-learning and stuff like that. Like, she really seems like she's trying to put in the work to sit there and do what it takes to be successful at her business, And so I kind of look at the situation like, I know that she doesn't want her to be in this business, for whatever your nefarious reasons are, but, she's also sitting there looking at Chanel like, she's really trying, and there's really a fine line between trying to discourage her and trying to protect her from whatever, I don't know, mischief that I'm going to sit there and cause. And of course, it's not just enough about that. But Paulina also got to sit there and talk about, oh, your generation don't know how to sit there and add without on their phone. I'm like, oh my goodness, that really just irks the living life out of me. I had somebody come in there and do my day job. And, she was talking to her friends. She was like, oh, kids like him or whatever, or, youngsters like him don't really know how to add without using their phones and stuff like that. And she was like, oh, wouldn't you agree? And I didn't even say anything. I was like, have a good day. He's like, oh, no, I didn't really mean it as an offense. Have a good day. Because it's just so... I don't want to sit there and say it's so insensitive, but it's so... It's an insult, I guess. It's like you're sitting there, generalizing a whole, generation of not knowing how to do something because you guys had it so hard back then. So clearly, I don't know how to sit there and add change because I'm too young and I have to sit there and do everything on my phone. Like, sweetheart, you don't know me. Like, I know that's just probably me just maybe being a little bit too sensitive, and I totally get that, but like, her mouthing off like that is just one of those things where it's like, you don't realize how ignorant you sound, That's like if I decided to generalize an entire group of women or an entire nation or race of people. It just comes across as ignorant. And I feel like women like that of that age don't really, or people just that age don't really realize how ignorant they come across. But with that being said, after they have their little talk and she leaves, she gets a call from someone and she's all like, oh, the plans are going to go through and, don't worry, Abe is not going to, I'm going to make sure Abe doesn't know about this. And of course, Lonnie comes up and is like, Abe is not going to know about what? What don't you want Abe to know about? So I'm pretty sure whatever it is, she's going to come with a lie. And of course, Lonnie is probably going to sit there and believe her because, well, plot. Plot. Let's just be honest. It really just comes down to plot. I always feel like I forget something. I think it's either because, one, I probably feel like I forget something, or two, sometimes I just enjoy talking about this stuff so much. It's like, what did I add in this? Did I add in that? Did I add in this? Did I add in that? So it's stuff like that, and that's why I always sit there and ask. Well, and plus I always like to hear people's opinions about, what you thought of the episode. They'll leave anything out. And with that being said, I'm going to go. So, If I left anything out, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank everyone for watching, especially yesterday. Yesterday was just so damn late. So late. But I want to appreciate everyone for watching, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If you can share this video, that would be helpful. I know I hate being like other YouTubers, and I'm like, please like the video, please share it. That just sounds so irritating to me. Every time somebody says that, I roll my eyes, so I know that I'm coming across as a hypocrite. But, you know, I think we all come across as a hypocrite, you know, at some point in times. But yes, if you can share this video, that definitely would help. And with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Be safe. Catch you in the next video.